My name's Heleena Bamford. I've been with the Native Fish Strategy Program team in Canberra, so the coordinating heart or engine room perhaps, and we are very much about trying to connect all the groups together and get the coordination component of the native fish strategy going. I've certainly never been part of a working environment where you have such a diverse group of people that come together with the same passion and talk about the same things and are working towards the same goal together. And it's an actual collaboration which is quite different in working in government. I did a lot of work on pest fish, so carp and tilapia and gambusia were some of the things that we worked really hard to try and get a lot of new knowledge and trying to move the management of those species forward. One thing that wasn't recognised really well when I first started was how much of a threat tilapia is to the basin. It's not currently present, but it is only a few kilometres to the north. And there's been a core group that I've been working with for the last 5 years who have really been trying to increase the recognition of that threat and are actually getting actions in place to stop the tilapia actually getting into the basin. So that's been a really big personal achievement in terms of what we as a group have managed to do. And I think some of the really big highlights for me were, even in the midst of a drought, we had people still working on native fish and trying to bring them back actively. And it's quite incredible when you had groups of people, when there was fish, even tiny little fish species, some that were fabulously attractive and interesting and some not so pretty, people who are going out of their way to rescue these fish. And without their efforts during that period, during droughts and during some of the fires, we would have actually lost some of the populations from the basin. And I think it's a resounding recognition of some of the passion and dedication of some of the people who worked on the native fish strategy, that they went out of their way. You know, one of the gentlemen actually housed some of the population in his back garage, set it up as an aquarium, which is just incredible dedication on his behalf for a small fish. You know, this sort of size, it's not recreational, but it is precious to our heritage and to the environment. I get to live vicariously through these people and seeing what they're doing. And even just the small contribution that I can make fighting through some of the paperwork and the red tape and allowing them to get on with a job on the ground it's a behind the scenes achievement, but in some ways it's just as important that I enable others to get the work done. So I'm quite proud of that fact too. Some of the early highlights were the actual just opportunity to get out and see some of the basin that I'd never seen before, and to see it through the eyes of the local people and how they experience their waterways and the land that they used around it was something that was awesome. I'd never seen a lot of the parts of South Australia in the Murray-Darling Basin, and one of my first trips was down to Catarapco, which is our catfish demonstration reach down there. And just seeing the environment down there was completely different to what I'd experienced before, but it was absolutely beautiful. And just the different facets of the environment, from the beautiful river to the shallow salt basins that they had and the different fish assemblages that were down there, was a real big highlight for me. I don't know what it is about fish. They are certainly fascinating, they're important, people love to catch them. Other people who are here don't go fishing at all, but they value the native fish. It goes across some of the divides of what people use the river for in other elements. You know, some people taking water and some people wanting to put water back. You know, they still are passionate about creating the habitat for fish. So it's something that connects people across different backgrounds and different perceptions of how things should be. You talk to the Indigenous people that we have involved in it, and there's that cultural heritage for them. For me, as growing up in Australia, I didn't live in the basin, I lived in Queensland, but we went fishing with my dad, and it was family values, and it was how we were brought up to value the native environment and the native animals. And it became an important part for me and a lot of others. I think part of our childhood was recognising fish, and it's incredible that that's what brings people together and binds them. It's a central binding factor. It's just passion for native fish, which is brilliant. understanding how fish need rivers, how fish need habitat, how they use it for breeding, for feeding, for nursery areas. Having something that you can explain and understand that with gives them such a broader appreciation of how important the environment is. I think this is probably one of the few programs that I've ever seen that really brings people together, people and the environment together in an incredibly positive way. It's just, it's hard, but when you do get those successes, it brings more successes and you keep building on those successes. And once you get past that teething problems, you can have some amazing things happen. And that's, I think, the thing that constantly surprises me about just getting people together and enthusiastic about an idea. People can make it happen. I can't actually see the concepts behind the native fish strategy dying. I can't. I think there are too many people who are too passionate about it and who get together regardless of the rest of what's going on, who keep working on that. We've made some huge inroads into the science. We've got some fantastic community people on board. We have the know-how in a lot of ways of how to bring this about, and there will still be community people and groups and people interested in their rivers who can take the knowledge and the work that we've done and put that into action in their local areas, and they can still make a difference. But I actually can't see the group of people that are here letting this thing just fade away into darkness. I think there's a light ahead, and we still are definitely trying to get there. It's one of the low points in the cycle, but we will get back to the high points again. I am fairly certain of that.